Hello everyone, welcome to Nomad Outside the Box. It's been almost 1 year of hiatus, which in this 1 year, so many things have happened that I wanted to catch you up on everything. And since I've had a lot of growth since a year, I wanted to tell you more about where I'm headed with my channel. So if you want to not hear about my 1 year, you can skip to this time to know what's going to happen with my channel. If you do want to know about my year, you can stay. But before you do, I have a trick for you. If you don't already know, I'm going to blow your mind. So there's this little wheel up there that you can choose for options. And if you go in speed, if I speak too fast for you, you can slow it down to 0.75 so that I speak slower. Or if you don't have that much time and you want to shorten the video by half, you can put the speed on ×2, and I'm gonna be speaking super fast. You're gonna catch all the information, but you're gonna save time. So if you didn't know about that, now you know. I always do that. It's such a time saver. Anyway, the last time that I did some videos, it was in the time of UJO. So I applied to the contest. If you want to know more, I'm going to put some videos up there. I made it to top 10. However, I did not make it to top 5, but I became a Canadian ambassador. And as soon as I knew that I didn't make it to the top 5, I bought a ticket back to Calgary because at the time I was very broke. I took some contracts here and there to make some money, and then I got together enough money to pay for a flight to Calgary. That's basically what happened. When I arrived in Calgary, I started volunteering at a hostel, and the plan was basically to keep volunteering at the hostel, find a job, and make some money on the side so that I could go to Germany in the fall. So that was the plan. Plans never work, so that's not what happened. I volunteered in a hostel and the environment was so toxic. It was so bad, it would drain my energy. It was a really bad environment and I had to get out of there, so I did. Usually I like to stick to my commitment, but when it's a question of toxic environment and I just hear my guts tell me, get out of there. So I did. I went and lived with my drag dad for a week and a half, which was fantastic. We lived really well together. And I applied for a job, which I saw this really cool hub of arts and culture in Calgary that was new. And I thought it was a really nice building and that the concept was super unique and awesome. So I applied there. And they told me that they didn't have any job for me to fulfill a full-time job. But I was like, I don't care as long as I can have some money and I can be in a place that I love, because I wanted to pay off my student debt as well, start paying it off, because it was a huge burden for me and I wanted to get rid of it. And I told myself, well, if I'm gonna get rid of my student debt, might as well do it with a job that I really like. So I applied, I started being a contractor at Seaspace Project. Things were going quite well. I started to search for apartments and I found an apartment in downtown Calgary, which was month to month. So it was really good because I was like, okay, that still gives me options. I wasn't sure I wanted to commit to anything, but it felt really good. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get an apartment. Fun fact, in the middle of the summer, UJO contacted the other top 10 to say, well, unfortunately someone dropped off the adventure halfway through and they were looking for someone to fill in from Russia to Tokyo. And at that point, I was so confused. It was the hardest decision I had to do in my life because I had wanted this so bad for so long, and I wanted to give the representation of non-binary people and trans people worldwide and participate to this amazing community and adventure. But on the other end, after I didn't make it to the top 5, I turned my life 360, and things just aligned so well for me in Calgary. I had a new job that I really enjoyed, and then I had drag, and I had a competition coming up, and I committed to going to Vancouver Pride. So I was doing some rehearsals for Vancouver Pride with Fake Mustache Troupe. So there was just all of these things happening, and my head was telling me, you want this so much, you should do it. So I said yes, and I accepted. But the truth is, my gut was telling me to stay in Calgary, that I was at the right place at the right moment for now, and that other opportunity would come to me. And I didn't know what to choose because it was just such a fast decision I had to make in like 24 hours. It's like, are you going to Russia now? So I accepted. And then one of my friends sent me a voice message. We were talking a lot, and she said to me, a week ago you were talking to me about your life in Calgary, and you were the happiest you've ever sounded in your voice messages. And now that you're telling me that you've accepted this project in you, Joe, you don't sound like it's something you really want at the moment. And I just started crying, and I just knew, I was like, no, my gut is telling me to stay. So, only fools don't change their minds. I declined the offer to you, Joe, and stayed in Calgary. And I went to the competition the next week, won the competition of the very best. I went to the Stallion Show competition as well, won that competition as well. Then I went to Golden and Vancouver Pride, which was fantastic because 2 years prior to that, I went for the first time to Vancouver Pride. It was my first Pride. I saw Sense8 cast, which Sense8 is one of my favorite TV show on Netflix, and I got to meet the cast of the TV show and to see them perform on the main stage, and it was such a magical moment. And there I was 2 years later on that very stage performing with Fake Mustache Drag Troupe, which is a community I love in Vancouver. It was absolutely insane. It was great. And during all of that journey, I gained 2 drag sons, so I started mentoring 2 people in drag. And then I came back from Vancouver and I got a full-time position at C-Space Project as a facility administrator, so I became a full-time employee. So I had the opportunity to pay off my student debt and save some money and do a job that I really, really love, do art that I really love in a community that matters. So I was like, it's very scary because I'm a nomad. I'm a nomad really deep down in my heart, and it's never gonna change. But that was the right thing to do at this very moment. So I decided to settle down, which was one of the scariest thing to do. But I signed a contract, and then I was like, well, if I'm gonna settle down for a bit, I'm gonna treat myself and have an apartment for myself, because when I'm traveling, there's a lot of people and there's a lot of shared rooms and spaces, and if I'm gonna settle down for a bit, I'm gonna take an apartment to myself. So I moved to another apartment, to a studio apartment for myself, and it's great. So 2 moves in a year, a new job, full-time position. I did drag, I did so much drag. So in my first year, 12 months, I did 19 new numbers. Let me repeat that. I did 19 new numbers in 12 months. That is completely insane, because that is including learning lyrics, putting together a concept, and costuming. And I'm really fortunate that I don't have to learn choreography. I improv everything because I'm a dancer, but costuming is a lot of time. And so my year was crazy, but so fulfilling, so fun. And I got in December to perform on the same stage as one of the most renowned kings in the world right now, which is Landon Cider. He won the 3rd season of Dragula, and I got to perform on the same show and stage as he did when he came to Calgary, and that was an amazing opportunity. So I do drag. I am a drag king since January 2019. So that's what happened during my full hiatus. I moved to Calgary, found a new job, moved, did a lot of drag, and through all of that there was just so much change and self-growth and happiness, and it was very, very busy, and I didn't have time for social media. That being said, you heard me right. I'm settling down for a bit, so that means that I won't be traveling that much. How does that affect my channel? Is that I'm gonna talk about everything that's outside the box in my life, which is basically almost everything. So here are the things that I'm gonna talk about. My no plastic lifestyle and eco-friendly lifestyle. I'm gonna talk also about my gender and my amazing community of the LGBTQ2SIA+ and drag. And I'm gonna talk also maybe about my job, the law of attraction, positivity, thinking, and of course storytelling, because my life is insane in the best way and so many things happen. I gotta share it. It's an adventure and I love it, and I wouldn't change it for anything in the world. At first, I thought that, I'm like everyone else, but every time I tell my story to someone else, people's minds are blown away. They're like, how did this all happen in your life? So I wanna share it. It's an adventure, it's fun. I'm gonna try to put some more content on my social media. I can't promise anything because I have a full-time job. I'm doing drag and trying to balance it all so I can do social media as well. But I really want to get out there and start doing some content again for everyone. So if you are not on board with the new content of the channel, it's okay. It's fine. If you are and you want to learn more about it and you want to get informed more and follow my journey, you can subscribe down there, and you can put a like to this video if you liked the full adventure. I know it's a very long video, so I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye.